he wants to stand foot to foot. The other brother, he does not want to stand foot to foot.
Brother, I've got a question.
You all know the mas'ala. The one brother, he wants to touch your feet in salah. Now, yourself, 50 years, you know, even your wife doesn't touch your feet. Alright? Now here, brother, your name is Ahmed, his name is Suleiman, he wants to touch your feet. You're not used to it. You're not accustomed to it. You know, you didn't grow up, you know, touching people's feet, etc. So we say to that brother, don't force it on him. The mas'ala of touching the feet, those who say that you do it, many scholars say that you do it, they say it's sunnah. And those who say you don't do it, at most he's leaving out his sunnah. Don't break heads and fight and all of that, you know, over a matter which is sunnah. Have some understanding. More important, let us pray, alhamdulillah. So if there's 5 brothers, and you know, they're quite good, and you know, they want to touch their feet, etc. Alhamdulillah, fantastic, brilliant, may Allah reward you for that. And those brothers who do not want to touch feet and don't want their feet to be touched, don't touch their feet. If he moves away from you, don't force it, no. And he moves, no, you come closer. And he moves until you're standing like that. You say, no, because you know, there's a small gap there, I don't want shaitan, you know, shaitan is going to come and stand in that small gap. But you're standing like that, shaitan is under you. That you forgot about. So the point is, that's why the scholars say, there is a fiqh in implementing the fiqh. There is fiqh, there's understanding required when you want to implement your fiqh also. So what we require more than anything else, more than the knowledge at times is, you know, some flexibility, some understanding, take it easy, cool it down, calm it down, inshallah. Hold on, Sheikh, your question.
Brother, I want to ask, is like, as you said, there's no excuse for missing the class. I think what we can do is, I'm asking your opinion, is like, you know, certain parts of the namaz which are parts you can do. How does that actually work? Is like you can do certain parts of the namaz, like, you know, the farz and then the sunnah, after there's certain sunnah that you have to read as well, and the nafil are optional. So how does that actually work with each namaz? I mean, that's something practical that we can do.
I didn't really understand the question, Sheikh.
The question is whether it's like, you know, the certain parts of the namaz which are you supposed to read.
2 rakats of Salatul Fajr, 4 rakats of Dhuhr, 4 rakats of Asr, 3 rakats of Maghrib, 4 of Isha. That's the part, yes.
That's the part.
Yes.
If, for instance, somebody is busy or something,
and he left out his sunnah, no sin on him.
There's no sin, but he has to read his fard.
But he has to read his fard. He has to perform his fard. And he should not make it a habit to miss his sunnah. If he prays, misses it, you know, on Monday, you know, at least Tuesday he reads it. If he missed it on Wednesday, on Friday he reads it. He should be constant. Why? Because if you have flaws, if you have holes, if you have deficiencies in your fard, then your sunnahs will fill it in on Yawm al-Qiyamah. You don't want to come on Yawm al-Qiyamah, you've got holes in your fard, and you've got nothing to fill in the hole.
That's right. I think there's a lot of flexibility.
Yes, there is flexibility when it comes to your sunnah and your nafil, etc.
Last question from last question.
Hold on,
Do you know there's a common problem, like we ask when he prays a lot and he says that he's got, I don't know, his clothes ain't clean, etc.
his clothes are not clean.
Yeah, could you just keep like, because there's a, like, say for example.
What does he mean that his clothes are not clean?
This is it.
Hasn't washed his clothes in 3 days?
No,
He's got najasa. There's a difference between something which is filthy and something which is
That's
najis.
what I want to clear, because like say if somebody's got a little bit of mud on their clothes,
Yeah.
they may assume that their clothes are
Okay, Jay, khair, inshallah, good question. Every day, hopefully, inshallah, every day you put your clothes in the washing. Jay, is your clothes najis? Has urine fallen on your clothes? Has feces fallen on your clothes? No. But every day, if you know some curry falls on your clothes, you know this your collar is dirty, etc., we put it in the washing. Jay, if you prayed, let's say for example, you know there was some water here and it fell on my garment, and there was some Coca-Cola, it fell here, and some beans got fell here, some curry fell here, and what else? What else? Paint. And some paint, and some paint fell here. What else? I mean, some oil fell here, some mud fell here, Jay, and I made my salah. Is there any problem? There's no problem. I mean, obviously I look like a clown, but alright, but there's no problem with regards to the validity of my prayer. My salah is valid. My salah is valid. Those things which we just mentioned, they are not najis. Najis is example, when you go to the toilet, when you urinate, urine is najis. feces, Jayid, you go. Number 2, Jayid, that is najis. Those things are najis. If you had, for example, urine on your clothes, etc., you need to wash that off. But as for mud and paint and all of these things, all is well, alhamdulillah, and you perform your salah without any problem. In fact, if for example, someone had on his clothes some amount of najasa, he had urine, he had feces, but it was a small amount. Let's say, for example, you know, the size of your palm, or work with 5 centimeters, 5 centimeter diameter, or some say that the size of a coin, Jayid. If you had, you know, small amounts of urine, you know, on your underwear, your undergarment, something splashed, etc., and you made salah, your salah is still fine. You heard that? Some are shocked. Okay? You have small amounts of najasa on your body. You know about it. You know about it and you prayed. Your salah is still valid, but you might be sinful for not washing it off. You might be sinful because you're not supposed to keep najasa on you. Punishment in the grave if you know you have urine drops, etc. You don't take care, etc. But as for your salah is valid. Your salah is valid. But if you got your whole shirt, you dipped it in urine, and then you took it and you put it on and you're wearing and you're making salah. Now your salah is not valid. Why? Because it's too much. Small amounts of najasa is ma'fuun and it's forgiven. Why? Because Islam is not only for the Muslim living in, where are we? In Birmingham in the year 2011. But the Islam is for the Muslim living in Chad, in Nigeria, in Bangladesh. He's a shepherd in Japan, Jayid, or wherever. Jayid, I mean, that man, it's not easy for him to, you know, the cows, something down here. He's outside, he's not living in, you know, some fancy bathroom, etc. all the time, Jayid. So Islam is flexible in these matters. Small amounts of najasa are forgiven, as for large amounts are not forgiven. Walhamdulillah.
We have things, we should have things now.
Let's stop it 9:30. Follow, Sheikh. I mean, my throat is already finished. What's the point?
Last question, I'm sorry.
Timing.
Sorry?
Timing.
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 Salah times.
Yeah. Some people, they are starting their namaz or nafil accurate on Maghrib time. Sometimes they are. And after that, they are joining up in the, Muslim mosque, so it's war time. So, is it acceptable?
That's it, I don't understand the question. If you mean the adhan of Maghrib goes, and then someone makes nafil. Okay, Sheikh. Okay. So the adhan of Maghrib goes, and then, let's say, what's your name, Sheikh? Subhan. Sheikh, subhanallah. Excellent. You went for Hajj or Umrah?
No.
No, inshallah you'll go next year. Jayyid, or this year. Alright, so Subhan, when you go to Makkah and Medina, you will see when the adhan goes, they give about 10 minutes after the adhan. And then whoever wants to pray 2 rakah sunnah, they pray the 2 rakah sunnah, then they give the iqamah, and then they read the fard salah. So technically, anyone who prays after the adhan of Maghrib, it's allowed. No problem. No problem whatsoever. No sin at all. Okay? But if, for example, you're in a masjid, like you go to a Hanafi masjid, so they don't give that time. They give the adhan and then they give the iqamah. So now if the iqamah is going, you don't stand in the back of the masjid and you say, no, I'm reading 2 rakat sunnah. No. You join them in the fard and you read the fard with them. Okay? So if you go to a Shafi masjid, for example, you're in the haram, they give time, then you can take 2 rakat sunnah. If there's no time, then you leave it out. It's like the miswak. You do it, fantastic. You left it out, no sin. Jayid?
The last question.
Can one perform salah in a moving vehicle such as a car or a train? Jayid? As for a train, it's quite easy. You're in the train, you got some space there. Your qibla is this side, so you make your salah, you stand up and you pray, quite easy. Jayid? You all okay with that? You're in the plane and you're flying there. Time of salah now, you face the qibla and they give you some space at the back there and you perform your salah, all is okay. But as for the car, how are you going to pray in the car? That's a tough one. Jay, that's a tough one. If you mean the fard salah while you are in the car, then only if you have an excuse to sit, then you can perform your fard in the car. Otherwise, you have to stop the car, you have to jump out, and you have to stand. Because standing is a pillar of the prayer. If you are somebody who can stand, then you can't sit in the car and pray. You must stop the car, jump off, and stand and perform your salah. Jayyid? Unless you are, for example, on the highway. Let's say this is a bit complicated for some. If you get it, fantastic. If you don't get it, might be mushkila. Let's say, for example, you're on the highway. What do you people call it here? The motorway, right? Now you are stuck in traffic. You are stuck in traffic. You can't jump off your car and begin praying or something like that, Jay. You can't need to move, Jay. So let's say it is Salatul Dhuhr. Let's say it is Salatul Dhuhr or it is Salatul Maghrib. You got two options. What's your two options? The two options are, while sitting in the car, you know, while you're driving, you know, you make your intention and you try to do some sort of salah while you're there, while sitting. I mean, you can't stand because you can't jump off the car. You've got no choice. So either you do that without standing, without making sajda properly, without making ruku properly. Either you got that option, or you make the intention that you will pray Salatul Zuhr later on and join it with Salatul Asr. Jayyid, majority of the scholars, the Shafis, the Malikis, the Hanbalis, all of those scholars, they allow for someone to join between the two prayers. So you either make the intention that I am going to delay my Zuhr because I can't pray it right now. So I will delay it until I go home and I will join it 4 rakahs of Zuhr and then 4 rakahs of Salatul Asr. You can't shorten it because you're not a Musafir, but you join it because of the need, due to the necessity. Because you got two options, let's see. Between a rock and a hard place. What are they? Either I pray Dhuhr in its time, but I don't make sajda, I don't make ruku properly, I don't stand up. That's one option. Or I delay it and stand with the proper ruku, with the proper sujood, but I join it with my Salatul Asr. Jayyid? And many of the scholars say, because